Rule number one, don't listen or take advice from people who are doing or at least have done what you're trying to do. The reason why is because they're just going to give you their opinions, and it's an uneducated opinion. Unless they had some experience or have experience in what you're trying to do, they're just going to be, again, stating their opinion. A lot of times you want an educated opinion. You want someone with experience, because if they have a fear in the type of investment that you're trying to do, whether it be being a landlord and having real estate as an investment, or whether it be in the stock market and investing in stocks, you'll get those fears. Great example is one time I was talking with somebody and they thought investing in the stock market was one of the stupidest things you could ever do. And meanwhile, talking to this person, I know that they have a pension, and their pension is invested all in the stock market, regardless of whether they realize it or not. Their whole pension is invested in the stock market, but yet they're telling me this investing in the stock market's a bad idea. But yet they're quite happy thinking their pension is a great thing. So these are the type of things you have to understand, is people will give you opinions about fear they have, and it's uneducated. So you got to be careful on who you're asking the opinions of and what you're doing. But whatever you do, don't listen to people's opinions who aren't doing or at least have done what you're trying to do. That's probably the number one rule I've learned in my life, and it took me a long time to learn that. Okay, so I hope this helps you out. Let's move on to rule number two. Okay, rule number two, avoid bad debt. You want to avoid bad debt at all costs. If you have bad debt, you need to get it cleared up. High interest loans, credit cards, things like that. You can't be investing in the stock market with an average 10% return when you're paying 20% on a credit card. You're just basically pedaling backwards. So you need to get rid of that debt. And that needs to be your number one priority, is to clear that up before you start investing. So, and you want to avoid bad debt. You want to avoid bad debt I try to avoid liabilities. Anything that's a liability, buying expensive cars, things like that. You want to avoid these debts because they're actually a bad debt. It's not an asset, it's a liability. Anything that takes money out of your pocket is a liability. Anything that puts money in your pocket, asset. So that's kind of what you want to do. You want to make sure you avoid bad debt. Okay, so let's move on to rule number three. Rule number three, don't try and keep up with everyone around you. Reality is, most people can't afford the life they live. So what you want to do is you want to stay within your means. You want to try and not have the most expensive things and do these types of things if you're trying to save money. In other words, you want to make sure that you're not wasting money. A great example is some people I work with, they have like the newest Apple iWatches, they have the newest iPhones, things like that. People make fun of me for having a iPhone SE because it still has the button. But the reality is, the phone does what I need. It's just a phone. It's a tool I use to check emails, to reply to information, to check on stuff, and it does everything I need. And I can get that phone for like $600 versus $1,500 for a phone. And people go, "Well, I get the phone for free. It's part of my phone plan." It's not part of your phone plan. You actually pay for that. You pay for it in the phone plan. Like, our phone plans are really expensive here in Canada. I probably get one of the cheapest phone plans because I actually own my own phone, and I bring that along with me. So what I'm getting at is, you don't need to try and keep up with everybody else. You don't need to have the latest and greatest stuff. You don't have to have the latest and greatest technology and everything. The reason why is because it's very expensive and you're trying to build wealth. So you don't want to try and keep up with everyone else around you, because it's very difficult and it's very costly. Okay, so that's basically rule number three. Let's move on to rule number four. Rule number four, start investing today. You're never younger than you are today. So the thing about investing is, you want to start early as you can because you want compounding to take effect. Basically, compounding is the time it takes for money to multiply. So the rule is 72. So 72 is the rule on how long it takes for money to double. So using the rule of 72, if that stock market gives an average return of 10%, it'll take 7.2 years for your money to double itself. And that's compounding. So every time that keeps doubling and doubling and doubling. So that's what you want to do. You need time in the market. So again, you're never younger than you are today. So the best time to start investing is today. Okay, so let's move on to rule number five. Rule number five, pay yourself first. So pay yourself first is a very important rule. It's a rule that took me a little while to understand, but what it really means is that you want to pay yourself first. That means pay your investments first. So basically, when you get your checks or whatever you do, or however you receive money, you want to take the percentage that is allocated for your investments, for your wealth building time, and invest that. So that's the first thing that come off. I do this with any money that comes across my hands. I take the percentage that I allocate for investments and I automatically put them toward investments. It's the first thing I do. And then the rest is it goes down from there. Then what it is then I pay bills and then there's the money that's left over for spending, which is allocated again. So, but the first thing you do is pay yourself first. Pay your investments first. It's not pay yourself so you have money to go spend and go out and have fun. It's to pay for your investments. So you pay yourself first. Invest in yourself first. Okay, so that's rule number 5. Let's move on to rule number 6. Rule number 6, invest in yourself. Investing in yourself is very important. One, you're increasing your knowledge base, increasing your skill sets, anything like that. Whether it be going to school, taking more courses, or whether it be reading books and educate yourself. Because just remember, any investment that you do in yourself, no matter where you are, you get to take with you. So that is a skill and an asset that's yours to keep. So that's why you want to invest in yourself. Make sure that you're investing in your knowledge bases, whether watching these YouTube videos, whether it be reading books for investments or reading books for your skill sets that you use at work to make money, whatever it is. You want to make sure you're constantly investing in yourself and increasing your value, whether your value is for you or whether value is perceived by your employer, either or. You want to increase your value. Okay, so that's rule number 6, constantly invest in yourself. Let's move on to rule number 7. Rule number 7, spend less than you make. It's not about what you make, it's about what you keep. And this is an important rule. The reason why is that people don't understand it. They always think little things don't make a big difference. And a great example is a coffee. Someone was arguing one time over they buy a Starbucks a day, which is say $4 a day, and it costs them $1 to make a coffee at home. They're really only saving $3. That's really not a big deal. But over the scheme of things, yes, it is. They said even over a year, it's only $1,000 savings. Well, $1,000, so it'd be about $1,090 a year. If you started that at the age of 20, and by the time you were 65, you would have over $1 million just from that minor little $3 a day. So it does add up over time. So you want to always make sure that you're spending less than you make. It's really not about what you make, it's about what you keep. And spending money on a coffee, which I see people every day who I work with and things like that, they have a coffee in their hand every day. And meanwhile, they could have just, made coffee at home, get free coffee at work, things like that, and save that money and invest in it. So there's always a way to start cutting back and to save money for investments. You just have to be resourceful in finding these opportunities to do it. And don't think of a small little savings as insignificant. Think of it as small little savings that's going to start you off on your path. Okay, that's rule number 7. Let's move on to rule number 8. Rule number 8, always have your money working for you. So you always want to have your money making money, whether it be in investments and savings accounts, like high interest savings accounts, things like that. You want to make sure that you're making something off the money you have. You want to invest it so it grows. You want to have it sitting in like index funds and things like that, so it's multiplying while you have it. You need to have your money work for you. Putting your money into liabilities is not having your money work for you. That's taking money out of your pocket. You want to put your money into assets, things that are going to grow, things that are going to generate you money. Those are the type of things. That's what I mean by always having your money work for you, making sure that it constantly keeps growing. Okay, so let's move on to rule number 9. Rule number 9, save and invest consistently. You want a consistent habit of investing. You want to invest either bi-weekly, monthly, whatever it is, but you want a consistent way of investing. You're going to set up PAPs or, automatic transfers from your accounts when you get paid into your investment accounts. You want to make this thing automated. You want to make it as simple as possible. You want to make it so it constantly happens. Basically, once you start doing these things, you get into a routine, and this is just the way life is. Once you start doing this is what you accept it as being, and that's all it is. So you want consistency in it. The other thing about consistency, it leads into your basically dollar cost averaging when you invest. So when you're investing in, say, an index fund or anything like that, which mirrors the S&P 500, the S&P 500 goes up and down. People always want, you want to buy low, you don't want to buy high, so forth and so on. Well, if you invest consistently, you're just dollar cost averaging. You're buying at the tops, so you're buying at the bottoms, you're averaging it out. So that's kind of what it is. You want to make sure that there's consistency to your investment. You're just doing it constantly all the time. So you want to set up some PAPs, you want to set up some automatic transfers, get that money into your investments accounts, and just make this as simple as possible. Okay, so let's move on to rule number 10. Rule number 10, emergency fund, go F you money. So this is something that you're going to build. You're going to build a fund where you're going to have some emergency money, whether this is to carry you through 3 months of if you lost a job, emergency happens, and things like that. What the point of it is when people talk about an emergency fund or go F you fund, the emergency fund part of it is just to cover unexpected things in life. So you do not need to take away from your investments. You never want to withdraw out of your investments. You want that money to grow uninterrupted, compounding over time. You do not want to interrupt that. So once you put money into your investments, you don't want to take it out. That's why you have an emergency fund, so you don't need to touch those funds. You may need to take a break if you lost your job and everything like that, putting money into your investments, but you never want to take money out of them to live. That's the key of that. The go F you part is when you make it to the next level and you know, hey, I have money in my account. I don't like my job. I don't want to do this no more. I want to look for another one, and you're not holding me ransom by a paycheck, and I can make those decisions. That's go F you money. That's a different level, and that's a different way of thinking of it, and that's a nice place to be. I had that opportunity in my life. I built companies for people. I did other things, and I had go F you money. And I was happened to be done with the company I was at. And then they thought that they could change the deal because they thought I was the type of person who lived paycheck to paycheck. And then realized very quickly that I am not. And I used my go F you money to say, thank you, go have a nice day. I'm just going to go open my own business doing something totally different. And that's what I did, and hence why we're here today. So that's the type of things that you want. So building these funds can be very beneficial, can put you in a good place, but it takes time. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of discipline to build this. So I hope all these rules help you out. I hope that you're increasing your knowledge base by watching other videos. And all the videos I do are just of my opinion. These are just of my experiences. I've done these videos basically to help people I work with and to pass on this information to them because I get asked a lot of questions. And these are some of the things I've done. So these are the rules that I've set up for me that I like in life. Hopefully they help you out. Okay, take care. Have a great day, and we'll see you on our next video.